everybody, welcome to my channel. My name is Sharon and this is a channel that is dedicated to all things related to narcissism. I make videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday on all types of topics related to narcissism, so if you haven't already, please take a moment to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any videos. I would really appreciate it if you gave the video a thumbs up. It's a free way you can help me out, and definitely don't forget to leave a comment because I like to read what you have to say. 2 nights ago, 15 minutes before CVS closed, I decided I couldn't face yet another long night staring at the ceiling. So I told Joe, I need to get sleeping pills right now because the store's about to close. He literally picked up the bowl of ice cream he was eating and brought it to the car while I grabbed the keys. Then the two of us sat in the CVS parking lot and took the sleeping pills. We were like junkies. Sometimes that's what recovery looks like. It isn't pretty. You're just trying to stay one step ahead of the pain. And that's what's happening to me right now. I mentioned in last week's video that I had some things to do. I was stressed out about it. I feel at this point like I am headed towards a full-blown depression. I hope not. You know, the thing is, when I make these videos, this is real. I'm not just a voice coming out of your computer or out of your phone. This is my real life. These things are really happening and it's really painful. Right now is a bad time and it's mainly related to finances and my attorney. And in some ways that's kind of connected. Many of you have told me that my attorney isn't a good attorney. And I heard you and I still hear you. I agree with you. The problem I have isn't believing that or not, but it's being able to afford another attorney. The only way I can really get another attorney is if somebody will wait for the sale of my house to let me pay them. And I don't know that an attorney is going to do that. My attorney is a paper pusher. That's what it is. She doesn't care. And in some ways, I feel almost like I'm still with the narcissist. When I was with my ex, I felt scared, alone, like nobody was fighting for me, like everything was an uphill battle. I had no voice in my own life. I feel like that with her as well. My ex is sitting in my house, in our house in New Hampshire, fat and wealthy. He makes 6 figures. He's not even paying any bills. His parents pay all his bills. So he is just sitting there on money. He's not getting the house for sale like he's supposed to. He's not giving me child support like he's supposed to. He's doing nothing and there's no repercussions. It doesn't matter. When I mention this to my attorney, all she says is, all right, I'll send his attorney another letter. Another letter that he's going to ignore? Why isn't he being pushed? Why is he doing nothing? Why is he allowed to do nothing? My attorney is not fighting for me, and I am really feeling the pressure. You know, I was a stay-at-home mom for 20 years. I can't just walk into a big lucrative career. Joe and I were both left devastated by our exes. Narcissists are horrific with finances. In fact, Joe's ex stole money from him even this year. Joe has custody of his son. Joe has 2 kids like I do. One is an adult. Same with me. We have 1 minor child each. So he was supposed to get, when he filed taxes, he was supposed to be the one to claim their son. He's living with Joe. She did it first and took that money. That was several $1,000s. Narcissists don't care. My ex is doing nothing to take care of his son financially. He doesn't care at all. Narcissists use your children to hurt you. That's what they do. And that's what's happening to both Joe and I right now. Now, Joe and I make a good team, and part of the reason is that we don't typically both feel bad at the same time. We can bolster each other. This week, for the first time, we both have felt bad at the same time. We've both been feeling anxious and stressed out about finances, so neither of us are sleeping well. Now, when Joe doesn't get enough sleep, it affects him in an extremely negative way. And when that happens, the whole family feels it. In a lot of ways, when you're in a family, it's like you share a heartbeat. So the other people in the family affect the way that you feel, and that happens. Now, Joe isn't that bad right now, not even close. But I have this fear that he's going to get in a bad place. He's mentioned before that over the winter he was in a bad place, and he was. That was no exaggeration. And when Joe gets in a bad place, he kind of like caves in on himself. And he doesn't want to bother anybody else. So he'll kind of just literally like sit in the corner, like slumped over. and other people don't know what to do. And Joe thinks, and this is what drives me crazy sometimes, and I've told him this, and he gets angry when I tell him this, it's not possible for the rest of the family to carry on how he wants us to. He wants us to all carry on cheerfully while he's like literally slumped in the corner in an obviously bad way. So I think there's like a part of me that's scared that that's going to happen again. As it is right now, Joe has been comforting me. So even though he's been down too, he's been comforting me. And what I like when I feel stressed out is when I feel anxious, I want to feel the weight of him. That probably sounds weird. Have you ever seen those weighted vests that they have for dogs or cats? So I think they have them for people too. Maybe I need one. It's like you have this vest and you put it on, say your dog's afraid of thunder, so you put this weighted vest on him and it makes him feel better, more secure. I get that because that's how I feel with Joe. What I want and what Joe does is when I'm really stressed out, depressed, anxious, I'll say to him, Joe, I really need you to hold me right now. And he'll hold me, he'll wrap his arms around me. Sometimes he'll call it the Sharon cocoon. He'll lay down, he'll spoon me, and he'll wrap his arms and his legs around me. And he'll tell me, everything's going to be all right, Sharon, really, everything's going to be all right. And I do feel better. I feel better. The problem is I don't feel all the way better. And I cannot tolerate any type of emotional pain. I run from it. I'm so afraid of it. Joe lets it wash over him. He accepts it. I don't. But what I've come to realize is that really what my problem is, and Joe always calls it a God-shaped hole. It's like a weight in your stomach. And I know you all know what that is, that feeling of dread or fear. I feel that all the time for the last week, and it's horrible. And no matter how tight Joe holds me, no matter what he does, he can't take it completely away because it's a God-shaped hole. It's not a Joe-shaped hole. And I know this. And the thing is, I've never been closer to God than I am now. I have been incredibly blessed. I know that that's true. And I know that when God gives you a lot, he expects a lot. But I am suffering. I'm squirming underneath this pain. I can't tolerate it. Now, I do know that there's a light at the end of the tunnel. I see it. I know it's there. Eventually, my ex will put the house on the market. Eventually, these situations will be relieved. But I'm afraid of the pain I'm going to feel between now and then. I'm absolutely terrified of it because God doesn't work for me. God works in his own time. And that's the whole problem, in his time. I want to demand, God, fix this, take this away, help me feel better. It's kind of like with Joe, hold me. Like that's what happens when I feel down. I'm so afraid. I want somebody to help me, but I know I have to work. I know this, I have to work on it with God myself. That's the only way to get through it. And hopefully his time won't be too much longer. I have a tattoo on my arm, and it's in Dietrich. It says Dietrich Bonhoeffer. It's in his signature. The reason that I have this tattoo, and I actually got this tattoo when I was with my ex, is because I want to be reminded, and it reminds me of the person I want to be. I want to have the attitude of Dietrich Bonhoeffer. For those of you that don't know who he is, he was a German theologian who was murdered on the orders of Hitler during World War II. This man was an amazing man. I highly recommend reading up on him. You will be so impressed. He was just, during World War II, he wrestled with his own conscience. He ended up getting involved in some assassination plots to kill Hitler. Now remember, he was a theologian, he was a pastor. So to kill somebody else, I mean, he wasn't actually going to be the one to kill him, but he was in on the plot. He decided it was the right thing to do. And he ended up being killed on the orders of Hitler himself because of it. He suffered the last 2 years of his life. He was in concentration camps and ultimately murdered. At one point, he was free. He was in America. He was safe. And he decided to go back to Germany. He took at this time, because it was like it would have been 19, I guess he left early 1940s. I can't remember exactly what year it was. I know he was killed in 45. He was in jail in concentration camps from 43 to 45. So it was like sometime before that. He was free in America. He opted to come back to Germany. He took the last boat back, last one. And he went back to Germany because he said, I can't stay safe in America while my people are suffering. And I can't come back from America to Germany after the war and take part in something that I fled from. He went back to what he knew very likely could be his own death. And that's exactly what happened. But he was a good man to the end. He was amazing. He kept his good spirits. And that's what I try to do. Like when you hear me on my videos and I'm like cheerful and I feel positive, that's real. That's how I really am. But right now, I'm not feeling that so much. But I try and maintain in general to feel that way. It's important to me. And I try to be like Bonhoeffer. I try to, not like I'm thinking about him and copying him every day, but he's a reminder to me that I could be a better person than I am now, there's more that I can do. There's more that God requires from me. And I want to do that. I want to be the best that I can be. I want to help people. I want to help my family. Right now, it's horrible because I feel this weight caving in on me. But I look at the tattoo and I think, I can do this. I can do this. If this man can get through the hell that he got through, I can do this. He was a positive, inspiring person, and like to the day he died. The tattoo that I have is of his signature. It was the very last thing that he wrote. He knew he was going to die, and he was being carted off. Hitler was trying to keep certain prisoners like one step ahead from being free. So he was being carted from place to place. And at one point, he was with these other prisoners. The day that he died, April 9th, 1945, the day he died, he was giving a sermon to try to cheer other prisoners up. He was a trapped animal, and he tried to help other people till the end. He wrote his name in the book he had preached from, hoping that his parents would get the book. They did, which is obviously how I have the signature. But to the very end, he was a good man. He was a solid He was a child of God. He loved God. The problem I have, though, and this is the problem that he had as well, God doesn't always do things the way you want him to do things. Sometimes you lose, or it seems like you lose. Now, if you look at Bonhoeffer, he was murdered. I mean, how big of a loss could there possibly be other than that? He was engaged. He wanted to get married. He had a family. I mean, he had a life he wanted to live. He didn't want to be murdered after spending time in a concentration camp. But that's what he felt he had to do. But he won ultimately because he went to heaven. Our world here, the earth that we're on, it's not the be-all, end-all. Heaven is our home. That's what we're really aiming for. And bad things happen to people here on earth all the time. So even though I can see this light at the end of the tunnel, there's a part of me that's like, well, I don't know, maybe not, because I don't know what God's ultimate plan for me is. None of us do. Sometimes the good people lose, and it seems like the bad people win. And that's like a real fear that I have. There's the uncertainty. I don't know what God wants. I hope it's going to be a happily ending after the way I want, but I don't know. So I'm going to end this video. The last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to read a poem that Dietrich Bonhoeffer wrote. Now, generally, I don't read things when I'm doing my videos because that doesn't come across in video very well. But I really think that the poem is fitting for how I feel and how some of you may feel as well. So I'll tell you before I'm going to read the poem. If you don't want to hear it, just click off then. Otherwise, let me just tell you briefly. Joe and I are going to make a video this weekend. We're going to do something a little bit different. A subscriber wrote us an email last week that really touched Joe and I, and it was a long one to reply to. And I got this woman's permission, so thank you. You know who you are. We are going to, on the video that we make this weekend, we're going to read the letter and answer it as the video. So that's something a little bit different. I hope you guys will like that. And you guys also, next week is a big week. It definitely gives me something to be happy about. My son has been struggling a lot with the move and feeling bad missing his friends. He doesn't know this, but 4 of his friends are coming here to surprise him next week. So he has no idea, and I gotta tell you guys, I can't believe I haven't blown the surprise. So many times I wanted to say to him, hey, you excited about seeing so-and-so? And I'm like, oh, Sharon, don't say it. So what's gonna happen, his friends are thinking that we'll pretend we're ordering pizza, and then when the doorbell rings, my son's going to answer the door and his friends are going to be there. So that's supposed to happen on Monday. So please pray that these boys have a safe trip. They're going for like a 12-hour drive. So please pray for those boys. Pray for Joe and I. Pray for our family, because I feel like we're being brought to our knees right now, and it's not a very good feeling. But I'm hoping, I do see a light at the end of the tunnel. And hopefully when I talk to you next week, I'm going to tell you, oh my gosh, I'm so much better. Something good happened, or I don't know what, but something other than what's happening now. So I'm about to read the poem. So if you do not want to be part of the poem part, you can end now. And I hope you have a wonderful weekend. Otherwise, I'm going to read you this poem that Dietrich Bonhoeffer wrote. It's my favorite poem. I think it's amazing and very fitting. So here we go. Who Am I? By Dietrich Bonhoeffer. Who am I? They often tell me I stepped from my cell's confinement calmly, cheerfully, firmly, like a squire from his country house. Who am I? They often tell me I used to speak to my warders freely and friendly and clearly, as though they were mine to command. Who am I? They also tell me I bore the days of misfortune equably, smilingly, proudly, like one accustomed to win. Am I then really that which other men tell of? Or am I only what I myself know, restless and longing and sick like a bird in a cage, struggling for breath as though hands were compressing my throat, yearning for colors, for flowers, for the voices of birds, thirsting for words of kindness, for neighborliness, tossing in expectation of great events, powerlessly trembling for friends at an infinite distance, weary and empty at praying, at thinking, at making, faint and ready to say farewell to it all. Who am I, this or the other? Am I one person today and tomorrow another? Am I both at once? A hypocrite before others, and before myself a contemptible, woe-begone weakling? Or is something within me still like a beaten army, fleeing in disorder from victory already achieved? Who am I? They mock me, these lonely questions of mine. Whoever I am, thou knowest, God, I am thine. So there you go. Makes you think. And all of us, hopefully, will have the life and dreams that we want. God bless you all. Have a wonderful weekend. See you later.